What's up, gamers? So today we're going to learn how to install the Laminated ITA TFT kit from Funnyplaying. Everything you're going to need is shown here. We got the extra shell, which is unique to these laminated kits. Here's the laminated kit. It comes in a nice little box, and you can see it has a protective cover. It looks a little scratched, but don't worry, it's fine. It's going to be fine. You have the 2 ribbon cables. This game is not mine, holding it for a friend. Go ahead and take the back shell off, and we're going to need to know how to determine whether it's a 32 or 40 pin Gameboy Advance. So go ahead and remove the ribbon cable. Make sure your motherboard is clean. If it has dirt or anything, wash it with IPA and a toothbrush. So here, without opening the Game Boy, you can see whether or not your model's 32 or 40. This kit comes with both, so it doesn't matter, you just need to know. There's also a number on the back, it's seen there, mine is 32 pin. This Game Boy motherboard, I installed an LED kit from Handheld Legends. You can find that video here or in the link below. So we're going to pick the smaller 32 pin connector. Go ahead and carefully put that in, and careful not to put excessive pressure or anything on the ribbon connector, as those are pretty fragile. I'm still learning to up my soldering game. I got a new Pine 64 pencil. As you can see, I'm warming it to about 330, 335. And as you're gonna see throughout this video, we're gonna learn some things today. I wanna make sure my tip is nice and tinned, free from any sort of oxidation that is caused by high temperatures or burning flux, including the flux that's in your soldering wire. Pretty smooth here, no real issues. As you can see, the issues come when I'm trying to weld the wires onto it, and gosh dang, I was getting some real problems with this where it just looked like the solder wasn't getting hot enough. And I've determined that it's my soldering wires. Get the freak out of here. Don't cheap out on your soldering wire. Make sure you get the correct good stuff. We took the ribbon cable out, and we're just gonna try to attempt this again. I increased my soldering iron temperature to about 375, and that seemed to work better for this low quality solder. So all the issues I'm having in this video are due to the cheap soldering wire, and the soldering wire came with this like really big like $20 Amazon pack that came with like just a crap ton of stuff. But I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna purchase some higher quality solder. So guys, don't follow my example. I know there's a lot of cheap gamers out there. I'm one of the cheapest people I know, but this is one of the things that you do not want to cut corners on. Invest in a nice soldering iron and solder to get the job done. So here are the test pads that you need to solder. We're going to tin all of these in this next step. So I'm working with the Handheld Legend RGB mod, and there's some holes that allow access to the test pads that we need to solder to. Clean your tip frequently, and go ahead and remove any of that oxidation layer that may form on your tip. Remember to tin your tip frequently to avoid oxidation. Alright, we've tinned all of our pads. Now let's go and complete the wire connections here. And the wire connections you need to perform are on the screen here. I'm giving you all the information on my soldering equipment. I'm going to say up front, I'm not a soldering expert. I've maybe been doing this for about 4 months. So the purpose of me providing these videos is to kind of show you and give you expectations on how you can perform as a beginner to the hobby. In addition to learning from everyone here, I appreciate the comments. Please let me know how I can improve my technique. Come on, come on. Gosh dang, that wire. I'm good, guys, I'm good. We're going to get serious here with some flux paste. We had to up the temperature and change to a chisel tip to increase our heat transfer to the solder joints. And this helped with the kind of lower quality solder. You can see I was able to do that joint there. And you can see with the flux, it's browning a lot. And that's a big problem with soldering at a higher temperature than you're supposed to. You burn the flux, and you burn the flux inside the solder as well. And that increases the oxidation on your soldering tip, which will prevent the solder from receiving the adequate heat flow that it needs to melt. So all the wires look good. Be sure to give them a good tug. You can see you want to be mindful when you're directing the wires. So you can see I made a mistake there. You don't want to put it through the hole, because those holes are where the posts, when you screw down the shell, posts will kind of pinch the wires. Keep watching to the end to see what happens. Just some information about how these laminated kits work. So you can see that the shells have a bevel on them to where you lay the screen down, and the screen has a matching bevel at a similar angle that allows the two to kind of sit on top of each other and mate. And go ahead and press in. It's going to self-center, make sure that it's seated correctly. We want to go ahead and put the bracket here. The bracket has kind of a shape recess, so you know exactly where it goes. Let's go ahead and carefully peel off the adhesive, place the bracket, and replace that circuit board and stick back the adhesive to the bracket. Replace that ribbon connector. Put in your membranes, make sure nothing's pinching when you go to kind of press it together. Everything's working great. All right, we can go ahead and screw it down. Be sure to cut out the support material here with the pair of side cutters. And we're good to screw it down. Make sure all those parts and pieces are in. I always forget one of them, and then I have to open the device back up and redo it. The L and R button are kind of finicky. You got to make sure that they're seated correctly and that those little pivot points aren't pinched. I've had a lot of issues with this little touch pad sensor. I've tried taping it, I've tried just laying it flat. It seems to kind of have a mind of its own, and when you go to put it together, the brightness will kind of just do random things. And so I'm not sure what the solution there. I'm kind of thinking of cutting it off, to be honest, but I'll continue to test it out, see how it goes. But right now I have not taped it down. Make sure your L and R buttons are working properly when you screw it together, and let's give it a test. Shake for good luck. Gotta shake those batteries. And we did it. To control the brightness, you hold down select and press L or R, and it wasn't working here. So I opened it back up and found that one of the wires was pinched and broken. That's why you've got to be super careful when you're soldering those little joints. You want to make sure that the wire is heading in the right direction. And everything's working properly now. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, please share, please like, please comment below. What do you think of this ITA kit? Do you like it better than the IPS kit? I'm going to do a video next showing the differences and a total review of this ITA screen and kit. I personally love it a lot, and I think I like it better than the IPS screen, but I'll detail how in a later video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.